Hi everyone, welcome back to Array series. Hope you're doing good. This is Mahesh. In this video, we will look into LeetCode problem number 56, which is merge intervals. Let us look into the statement of the problem. So given an array of intervals where intervals of I equal to start I, end I, and merge all the overlapping intervals and return an array of non-overlapping intervals that cover all the intervals in the input. Okay, they have given few examples, then they have given few constraints where the length of our intervals array ranges between 1 and 10 raised to 4. Okay, and any interval will have minimum, not minimum, will have for sure two elements. Okay, then our start I and end I will always range between 10 raised to 4 and start I will be less than or equal to end I. So these are the constraints. With that, let us switch to our editor and try to understand this problem. So now if you see, this is one of the examples. So these are the given intervals. Now what we need to do, we need to merge intervals which are overlapping. Okay, so now let us try to understand what is the overlap. Let us take these two values, basically 1 3 and 2 6. Okay, so now what exactly 1 3 means? Let us take a small range of values. So something like this. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, now what I will do, I will take range 1 to 3. So 1, comma 3. So it means my first interval will be in this particular range, correct, right? 1 to 3, correct, right? Now let us take the next value, which is 2 6. So I will take a different color. So that 2 6 will be something like this, between 2 and between 6, correct, right? Now if you see this, partly it is getting overlapped. So here it is getting overlapped. So what we can do, we can say 1 3 2 6 are overlapping ones. If they are overlapping, then we will say it starts from 1 and it ends at 6, correct, right? So we will say 1 comma 6 as the merged interval. So initially it was 1 3 2 6. Since they overlap, I will combine it and I will say 1 comma 6. There can be one more interval after this. Maybe that is not there in the example, but I am just giving an example. Maybe next would be something like 5 to 7. So in that case, we will again merge one more interval and we will say it as 1 comma 7. So we need to find such intervals which are overlapping and we need to merge them. Okay, now in this particular example, now if you see 1 3 and 2 6, they overlap, correct, right? So I will say this as 1 comma 6 after merge. Okay, now if you see 7 9 and 8 10, again they overlap because 8 is lesser than 9, correct, right? So it means there is some overlap between, say for example, I will try to draw that again on this diagram. So 7 9 will be something like this, and it will be another will be 8 10, something like this. So again there is going to be some overlap. So I will take those two and I will merge and I will say it is going to be 7 comma 10. Okay, I will take the minimum start and maximum end. That will give me the merged interval. Now remaining one would be 15 18. So it does not merge with any other interval, so I will simply take that. So this is our expected output after the merge of the intervals. So this we need to return. So this is basically the problem statement, and we also seen what are the constraints. maybe what you can do, you can pause for a second, or you can pause and basically you can think for any possible solution and you try to solve the problem. If not, you come back and you continue watching this video. So with that, let us also try to understand the idea. So here we want to process this entire array in single iteration. So what we need to do? So basically, if we want to process this entire array in single iteration, we will have to sort the array. So that is what the interviewer will be looking at us. I mean, after giving this problem. So we will come to that later. But first, let us try to understand what is the brute force solution. So now what I will do, I will simply take this array, I will copy it. So now what I will do, for the brute force, first we need to take this particular value, then we need to scan remaining intervals. So if anything, I mean, which is overlapping, then what we can do, we can merge that with this particular interval. So let us try to do that. So I will take my 7, 9. So this is going to be my start and this is going to be my end interval. Okay. So with that, I will leave the first value. Then I will start with this particular value. So now what I will do, I will take 1 and 3. Okay, so does 1 and 3 overlap with 7, 9? No, right? Then skip these values and move to the next number. Now it is 2 and 6. So does 2 and 6 overlap with 7, 9? No, correct, right? Why? Because 7 is greater than this 6 value. So it means it lies after this particular 2, 6 interval. Okay, so I will skip this value. Now I will go to 8 and 10. Now, if you see this 8 is less than 9, it means it overlaps, right? So if that is the case, then we will merge here. So if we want to merge this with this start and end, then what we need to do, we need to take the minimum of these two, then maximum of these two, correct, right? So I will do that. So with that, now I will update the start with the minimum of the current start and the next start, so which is 7, so there is no change. But if you see the end, now our end should be the maximum of the end and the next end. Okay, so this gets updated to 10. Okay, so now what we did, we merged 8 and into our 7, 9, correct, right? So it means our this particular value is used, correct, right? So for the next merging, we should not really consider this because this is already merged into some interval. So for that, what I will do, I will take another array which is used of length, this particular length, basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 intervals. Okay, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you give the indexes, it becomes something like this. So I will say my third interval is used. It is done and dusted. So we don't really use that in future if it appears in our iteration. So 8, 10 is done. Next 15 and 18. So 15 and 18 really does not overlap with 7, 10. So I will ignore. Now for 7, 9, what I did, I scanned the whole array and I came up with the merged interval. So I will take one more variable merged interval array, then I will push my 7 and 10. So this is our first merge. Okay, next I will go with my second value, which is 1 comma 3. So if you see, this is not used here. So if it is used, then there is no point in processing that. We have to ignore that and we have to move. So this is not used. So what I will do, I will take my start as 1 and end as 3. Okay, then should we consider 7, 9? No need, right? It is already done. I mean, we have already merged that with 7, 9. So we will skip that and we will start with 2, 6. Now I will take 2 and 6. So now if you see, our end 3 is greater than our next start. It means it overlaps, correct, right? So if that is the case, let us merge these two. So out of these two, one is small, so I don't need to update anything. Now out of these two, which is greater one, 6 1. So I will update the end with 6 1. Correct, right? Now we successfully processed 2 6. It means we already used it. So what is the index of 2 6? It is 2. So I will mark it as used. Okay, then I will move to next value. Next value is 8 comma 10. 8 comma 10 does not overlap, so I will skip and I'll go to 15 comma 18. So again this also does not overlap, so I'll skip. Now once we scan the remaining elements, now finally we will push 1 comma 6 to our merged array. Okay, now we successfully completed our second value. Now we will have to look into 2 comma 6. But if you see 2 comma 6, it is already used. Correct, right? It is already used. Somewhere we missed marking 1 comma 3 also. We have used 1 comma 3 as well because just now we processed. So we will have to mark that. This is also done. So now it is the remaining element is only the last index, which is this one. So which is 15 comma 18. So now if you see 15 comma 18, it does not overlap with anyone. It is only the single interval. So finally what I will do, I will push that 15 18 into my master. Okay, so this way we will get the master. Now if you see 1 6, it does not overlap with any other value. 7 10, it does not overlap with any other value. Then 15 18, it does not overlap with any other value. So we successfully processed all the intervals. So now what we did, we took one interval, then we compared with all the remaining intervals. So basically here we took this one, we compared with all the remaining intervals. We took this one, we compared with all the remaining intervals. Correct, right? So that is what we did. Let us try to write the pseudo code. Okay, so what and all we need first the length. N will be intervals dot length. Correct. Next we need is used array to make sure, I mean which interval is used. So that will be array of size, basically n. So it is array of size n. Okay, then it is basically a boolean array. Okay, that we need to keep in mind. Next one, we need merged array. Assume this is our merged array of some random length. So you can take list, I mean basically array list or normal array in JavaScript. Okay, so with this, do we need anything else? No, right? So now let us start. So what we did, we processed interval one after the other. Correct, right? For that we need one for loop. So I will use a for loop for I equal to 0 to n minus 1. This is our first for loop. Now what we did, if some element is already used, then we skipped that. So first I will check if is used of I. If it is true, I will check this with if statement, then I will skip that. So basically we need to simply continue. This will skip further processing. Okay, if that is not the case, then what we did, we took the start and end value, then we try to compare with the remaining values. So for that I will say my start equal to intervals of I. So this will give the interval. In that, first number is my start number. Okay, then I will take end number, so which is intervals of I of 1. So this will give us the end number. So once after that, what we did, we scanned the remaining elements. Correct, right? So for that, what I will use another for loop for j equal to 0 till n minus 1. So when we process, whenever that particular interval is not used. So first thing what I will do, I will check for that. So before that, since both I and j, if you see, they iterate from 0 to n minus 1. So there is chance that I can become equal to j. It means we try to compare the interval with the same interval, so that we should avoid. So if our I equal to j, this is one condition. Or if it is already used, if it is already used, then what we will do, we will simply skip that. So basically we will continue. If that is not the case, then now we really need to check whether two intervals overlap or not. So for that, what we did, let us take 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 6. So let us take 1 comma 3 and 2 comma 6. Okay, so in this one we checked whether this 2 really lies somewhere in between 1 and 3 or somewhere at 3. So that we checked, right? So basically what we did, 2, we checked whether it is in between. So basically greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 3. That's what we checked. So something like this we do, or the better way would be, now if you see what I will do, I will take the maximum of these two, maximum of the start, basically the current start and the next start. So what is the maximum? So now it is 2, correct, right, in this case. Next will be the minimum of the second value. So minimum of second value will be 3. Now if you see, this is less than or equal to our this particular value, correct, right? So if this is the case, you can take few other examples and you can try this. So if this is the case, then overlap really does exist. So what I will do, if max, so before this, what we need first the next start, which is intervals of j of 0, then next end will be intervals of j of, so these will give me the next start and the next end value. So if we are pressing 1 3, this is our next start and next end. So now what I will do, I will use if max of start comma next start, if it is less than min of end comma next end, then overlap exists. So in this case, what I will do, I will say my start. So basically what I did here, I updated my start and end values, right, by taking the min of both the starts and max of both the ends. So start will be min of start comma next start. Okay, so why this way is better, because we really don't know whether 1 3 appears first or 2 6 appears first. If 1 3 appears first, we can simply check whether this value lies between 1 and 3. But if it is the other way, so it is a little difficult, right? So in that case, again we will have to sort them, and then we will have to try to find whether they overlap or not. So this is the better way in that case. So that's why I am doing this particular check here. Then my end will be max of end comma next end. Okay, this way I will update. Then at the end of second for loop, what I will do, I will say merged dot push or add, basically. Then I will push my start comma end. Okay, finally after the second for loop, I will simply return my merged. Okay, so if you see, we are using basically two for loops, this one and this one. It means for each interval we scan the remaining intervals. So there are n intervals, we will iterate for each interval n times. So our time complexity is of order n square. So our time complexity is of order n square. Okay, what is the space complexity? We use this merged array. Also, we use this is used array, correct, right? So that's why our space complexity is of order 2. Okay, so if you see, our input is of order 10 raised to 4. So it won't really accept our O of n square solution. It will give us TLE, correct, right? So we will have to improve this. So this will accept mostly n log n solution. So we will have to try to come up with the most optimal way in n log n solution. Let us see how to do that. So before that, what I will do, I will paste my array again. Okay, so this is my array. So now if you see this particular intervals, if you see, this overlaps with this, correct, right? This overlaps with this. So how do we say? Because if you see 1 and if you see this particular 2 and if you see it lies between 1 and 3, correct, right? So that's why we say, I mean, the next interval really merges with the previous interval. So somewhere if we do this, we will be able to address this particular merging in single iteration. So for that, what we need to do, first sort them. First sort the intervals. Sort the intervals. So now if I sort it, so how sort by the first start value. So basically 1 3 will be my first value, then 2 comma 6 will be my second value, then 7 comma 9 will be my third value, then 8 10, then 15 and 18. So now if you see, for this value to merge, you can simply only refer the previous value. Why? The next value, it may overlap with this or it may not. But next value anyhow we process after this particular value, correct, right? So first I will check this value. If this value can be merged here, then I'll simply merge that. Then again with the merged value, again I'll check the next value. So what I'm trying to say, if we want to process this entire interval in single iteration, then sorting is really important here. Now, if you see, first I will take my 1 comma 3. Okay, I will simply push it to my merged array. Okay, assume this is the initial state. Now what I will do, I will start processing from 2 6. Now I will take 2 and 6. So is 2 6 I mean, can we merge 2 6 with 1 3? Yes, correct, right? So I will simply merge that. If I merge, what happens? It becomes something like this, 1 comma 6. Now I will move to next element, 7 9. So 7 9, does this overlap with 1 6? No, right? So I will simply push my 7 9 to the merged array. Okay. Next I will move to my 8 10. Now you don't need to really worry about 1 6. You can simply consider 7 9 and you can check whether 8 9 merges with 7 9 or not. So that's the beauty here. I mean, once you sort, you can simply rely on the last element in the merged array. So I will simply check that with 7 9. Yes, it is mergeable with 8 10. So I will simply update this. So it becomes 7 comma 10. So I successfully processed 8 10. So here, sorry, 8 10. Then I will go to my next 15 and 18. So if you see 15 and 18, you just need to compare that with the last value in the merged array. So now this cannot be merged. So I will simply push my 15 and 18 to the merged array. So this way, I mean, in single iteration, we should be able to merge all the intervals. So this happened only because we sorted the interval. Okay, So with that, let us try to understand the time complexity. So what is the time complexity? So for sorting, we need n log n. Considering we use the best sorting algorithm, so let us assume, we use merge sorting and we come up with the sorted values in n log n time complexity. Then what we did in the second iteration, we processed all the elements. So that will be another n. So it will be somewhere of order n log n time complexity. Correct, right? And what is the space complexity? We are using only this extra array, which can be somewhere order n. So this is basically the time complexity and space complexity. Let us try to look into the pseudo code. So what and all we need? First we need to sort. So basically what I will say, my intervals, I will simply sort it. So I will say sort intervals, okay, by first element. So this we will see in the code how exactly we do that. Then after that, we also need n equal to intervals dot length. So for I equal to 0 to n minus 1, we iterate over each element. Then after that, we also need our merged array. So for that, what we can do, we can simply first push the first value in the array, then process from 1 to n minus 1, or we can simply take the empty merged array. Then what I will do, I will check if it is first element, or if there is no overlap, we simply push the interval to the merged array. If my merged array dot length or size, if it is equivalent to 0, if there are no elements in our merged array, or our the last element in the merged array does not overlap with the element what currently the interval what currently we are processing. So before that, what I will do, I will move this bit down. So I will say my previous element will be merged dot length or size minus 1. So this will get us the last element in the merged array. Then our current will be intervals of I. Correct, right? So this is our current interval what we are trying to process. Now if my previous of 1, that is basically the last value, if it is less than my current of 0, which is the current start value, if this is the case, then merge can't happen here. So what I will do, I will simply say merged dot push or add. So basically merged is a array list, or it is array in JavaScript. So I will push my current interval. We are sure that we got a merge. So if we need to merge, then basically what we need to do, say for example, we have 1 comma 3 in our merged array, then we got 2 6, then we will have to merge this to 1 comma 3, right? So it means we simply need to update our last value. So we can take the maximum value, and if we simply update this particular 1 3 with 1 6 something like this, if we make this modification, then that is done. So I'm trying to do that. So I will say my previous of 1, so that is basically this particular value, then equal to max of previous of 1 comma current of 1. So this will simply update the max value. Then finally, after processing, we will return our master. So if you see, we are able to merge in only single iteration, and it happened only because we were able to sort the intervals. Okay, so we have already seen the time complexity. We should be able to solve this in order of n log n time complexity and order of n space complexity. With that, let us try to execute this and see. So now what I will do, I will take const n equal to intervals dot, okay, this gives us the length. Then I will take a merged array, which is empty array initially. So I will say const merged equal to empty array. We will sort our intervals array. So intervals dot sort a comma b such that a of 0 minus b of 0. So this will sort the array by considering the first value. Then what I will do, I will use a for loop for let I equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. I will process the each intervals. You can also use for of loop here. So with that, now what I will do, I will check if my merged array does not contain any element. So if there is no length, or my merged arrays top interval, so this is merged of merge dot length minus 1. So this will give us the element at the top. Then I will take the end number. So of 1 will give us the end number if this is less than my current intervals start number, which is at 0th index. Then there is no overlap. So basically this is no overlap case. Okay, what we need to do, we need to simply push the intervals of I. Okay, so if this is not the case in the else part, so this is basically the overlap case. So what we need to do, we need to simply update the top of the top element in the merged interval array. So it will be math dot max of the top number, comma, intervals of I of 1. So basically the current end and the next end. Okay, with that, finally what we can do, we can simply return our merged array. Okay, let me try to run this. If you see, our solution got accepted, and I will submit. So our solution got submitted successfully. So this is the most optimal solution for merging the intervals. I hope I was able to make you understand this problem. If that is the case, please consider subscribing to my channel and also like the video, share this with your friends. And if you have any other problem that you want me to solve, you can add that as a comment. Thanks for watching the video.